ठीक है ना?
ओके ओके कर दीजिए.
ओके, क्यों?
So good morning everyone. My name is Lalit Soni and I welcome you all in this live session by Drishti IAS. In today's session, we'll be discussing Indian Express. I know it's been a while, almost a week. We couldn't come live because of certain reasons, but don't worry about it because whatever developments which has happened in the past week, they will certainly repeat in the upcoming newspaper. We will be taking up all these things. Like recently, this CA was in news again, and we'll be talking about that. Other than that, this European Union free trade agreement you must have heard about in the last few days. So we'll be talking about that as well. So the best part of newspaper is that the news which are important for you, they keeps repeating. So we'll be taking up those news items as and when they appear in the newspaper. So don't worry about that. So let's start with the today's newspaper. So here you can see there are some important articles which we will be discussing in today's discussion. Here CA rules notified. So basically you know that there was this Citizenship Amendment Act which has came in 2019. Afterwards they were supposed to notify the rules for the implementations, okay, because of certain reasons, because of COVID. Otherwise also these rules couldn't be notified, but recently government has done that on Monday, and so we'll be talking about those rules and we'll be seeing what are the difference different procedures or different evidence they have enrolled in the procedure, okay. So that one thing we'll be talk about. And then after that, Agni 5, there is this MIRV technique, or you can say this is an MIRV technique based missile system, okay. So Agni already has their series where we have Agni 1 to 4, okay. In that series we have Agni 5, that is a recent addition and that is most advanced one. So we will be talking about that. And afterwards, aid in dying. So basically this law, or you can say this concept, has been talked about in France, okay. You must have heard about active euthanasia, passive euthanasia. On the similar line, this is another concept which is aid in dying. So we'll be talking about that, okay. Then around the world we'll be taking up one or two news from that, and then for your own read there are two articles which you can go through. These are written in simple language, you won't face any kind of problem, and then there will be a practice question in the last for you to answer in the comment box, okay. So if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel, okay. And about this particular program, it is a live program which will come every day, or you can say Monday to Friday 10:30, okay. And the newspaper of Saturday and Sunday, that will be covered on Monday, so don't worry about that as well, okay. So let's start. Let's have a look at the front page of our newspaper, okay. So there is the one article that is related to your CAA rules, okay. So we will be discussing about that. Then PM hails first test Agni 5 with multiple warhead technology, so we will be talking about that as well, okay. Now moving further, we'll start with the first article that is related to your CAA rules, okay. So this CAA, or you can say Citizenship Amendment Act, which has come in 2019. Afterwards government was supposed to come up with the rules, okay, because once an act once a bill becomes an act, to implement that particular act there are certain procedural rules, or you can say administrative processes should be there, okay. For that these rules are quite necessary, okay. Because of certain reasons, be it COVID or be it otherwise also, these rules could not be notified, okay. So but now government has come up with these rules, though this matter related to the constitutional validity of the this particular amendment act is with the Supreme Court right now. Supreme Court is still to heard this matter, but as of now government has come up with the rules, so we have to read them and we have to understand what changes they have made, okay. So importantly speaking, we'll be talking about the first, that what CAA was, okay. So that first introduction was given like that, okay. Best part of Indian Express is that they will be giving you some explained portion or some key features or static portion of that particular thing in the news article itself, okay. So from here you can say, recently the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 rules were notified on Monday. Eligibility criteria is individuals belonging to Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, and Christians. These are 6 communities. Okay, these 6 communities form Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. Form these 3 countries. Okay, so there are 6 communities from these 3 countries who entered into India before December 31st of 2014 can apply for the Indian citizenship. All those people who has entered India before this particular deadline, that is your 31st of December 2014, okay, if they have entered before this particular timeline, they can apply for the citizenship. All those people who are belonging to these 6 communities from these 3 nations, okay, it is presumed that they were prosecuted there. Okay, based on that, if they have entered India before this particular date, okay, and they are living here, be it on visa or be it illegally, if they are living here, they can apply for the Indian citizenship. Okay, so that was the basically you can say crux of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, so that was given here. Afterwards, now key rules has changed. Okay, so let's see what these key rules are. We will be discussing these rules in detail, but right now for the crux, you can see any document, even great grandfathers, good enough to prove country of origin. Okay, so when you are applying for citizenship, you have to present some kind of document to support your claim that you are person of origin, or you are some you can say that you were citizen of particular country. You have to give 1 or 2 documents which are supporting your identity, or you can say your origin. Okay, so for that certain documents are required. Here in this case they are saying that any document, even if it is document is of your great grandfather, so you can use that particular document. Okay, certificate from local body member enough to prove the date of entry. Okay, so when we are talking about these this particular certificates, any person who is elected member of the local body, that person can give you a certificate that you have entered on this particular date to India. That certificate would suffice. Then central panel, not district collector, to handle application. Earlier, when we are talking about citizenship applications, these applications were to be handled by district collector. Okay, but under this particular amendment, they have made a central panel, okay, which will be taking care of all these applications. Okay, so these are the key changes which has been made by this particular amendment. Okay, so coming to the next part of it, here they are saying that any document which shows that one of the parents, grandparents, or even great grandparents, okay, of the applicant was from these countries. Okay, now we are saying that the origin of the person should be from these 3 countries, that is Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. Okay, in that case, even if there is a document which belongs to your parents or your grandparents or your great grandparents, which is saying that the applicant is belonging to that particular country, that 3 countries, that document would suffice. Okay, earlier you need to have a visa or you need to have a passport supporting your claim, but right now any document would do. Okay, so that is one thing. Other than that, these migrants were till now either they were on visa or they are living illegally, but with this particular amendment they can get the citizenship of our nation. Okay, now with that provision they have actually reduced the period of citizenship by naturalization. So basically there are various you can say manner in which you can get the citizenship of India. One is naturalization, and for that there was a requirement of person living in India for like 11 years. Okay, but with this amendment they have done it to 5 years for such person of origin from these 3 countries and 6 communities. Okay, so for a normal person, if they want to come to India and get the citizenship through naturalization, you need to stay in India for 11 years. Okay, but if you are from these 6 communities and 3 countries, you can get it after 5 years. Okay, so that is the key change which has been made after this particular amendment act. Okay, change in the evidences. Okay, so as I told you, some document would be required. Okay, here that earlier there was this requirement of either passport or a residential permit issued by our country. Okay, that person can reside here. So CA का full form क्या है? So full form of CA is Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, so this you must know because this is from 2019. Okay, and this has been in news for a long now. So coming back to the evidences. So earlier you need to have a passport or a residential permit which has been given by our country, But recently that has been changed, and now you can have any kind of document which indicates that you are a person from that particular country. That includes birth certificate, educational institution certificate, identity certificate of any kind, okay, or any kind of license, land or tenancy record, or any other document issued by these countries which prove that applicant was citizen of their country. Okay, so for that, here, all these kind of documents, nearly there are list of 20 documents which has been notified by the government. If you have such document, you can come and use this document as a proof that you were citizen of that particular country. You don't have to produce the passport, or let's say this particular residential permit. Okay, reason behind is that we are presuming that these communities or these people are basically persecuted. Okay, so there are high chances that they might not have their passport with them. Okay, so that is why they have come up with this idea, and wherein nearly 20 documents they have allowed. Okay, now one interesting point is that even beyond the validity of a document, okay, we know that when we are talking about driving license, etc., they have a particular validity. Okay, in this particular case, if you have the document but that document is expired, or you can say the validity of the document is expired, even in that case also that document will be considered for the proof of their citizenship. Okay, afterwards, a certificate from educational institute was needed that one of the scheduled language, we have one 8th schedule which says that there are nearly 22 languages, and that person who is applying for the citizenship of India, that person must know at least one language out of that. Okay, for that a certificate was required from an educational institution. But with these changes, what they have done, that even a declaration by that particular person saying that I know one language, that would suffice. Okay, you don't have to go for any certificate from an educational institute. If you are going for any kind of declaration saying that I know this language, that would suffice. Okay, so nearly 20 documents are there. Other than that, change in the procedure. Earlier what used to happen is that if you want to apply for the citizenship, you have to go to district collector. Okay, and application has to be made to district collector, and district collector is basically an arm, or you can say part of the government, and which is under state government. Okay, so obviously state government has a say because he is ultimately part of state government. But the thing is, in the recent changes, what they have done, that they have not given any kind of provision where application should be made to district collector, but there is a provision, there will be a panel. Okay, and that particular panel will see all these particular proceedings. Okay, for that you have to go for this particular panel which is made by center. Okay, and this panel will be taking your applications. Okay, so now the role of state has been made very less. Okay, so that was the another change which has been made. State government would have limited participation in the process. This could deal with the possibility of state government oppose the legislation trying to stall the implementation of a law. As I told you that this is a law which is made by the center, and now various state they can say that they might not want to enter, or you can say implement this particular law. To bypass that possibility, they have made a panel which is authorized by the center, and district collector or the state government will have a limited role in this particular process. Okay, so that is overall changes which we have talked about, and these are the changes which has been made by the Citizenship Amendment Act rule, or you can say CAA rules. Okay, now we have discussed all these things, but for the crux, I have mentioned this in the text format. Documentation, all these things, as I told you, any kind of document which is even if it is related to your great grandparents, that would also suffice. Second thing is various birth certificates, identity certificates, educational institution certificate, licenses, etc. can also be used. Okay, then change in the evidence required. As I told you earlier, passport and the residential permit was required, but now that is not necessary. Okay, now other than that, there was this procedural changes which has been made. As I told you, now they have come up with a district level committee and a empowered committee at the central central level. These committees are made or instituted by the center itself. Okay, even if it is on the district level, it is made under the authority of center. Okay, now digital certificate, once everything is approval, okay, or everything is approved, once all the scrutiny is done by the committees. Okay, So on approval, these individuals will be granted Indian citizenship and they will receive a digital certificate signed by the chairman of the empowered committee, which is set up by the center. Okay. So once everything is done, every scrutiny is done, you will be getting a digital certificate. Okay. So that is about the changes which has been made under this particular rules. Okay. Now we can move further. CAA issues in the legal challenges to the citizenship law. So basically we have seen what this particular act is talking about. Hold on. So we have seen what this act was talking about. Okay, but there are certain challenges. Okay, or you can say there are certain communities which has approached the Supreme Court and saying that this particular act is against the Article 14, saying that it is discriminating on the basis of religion. Okay, now but the thing is here the act assumes that there are certain you can say communities which are prosecuted in the neighboring countries, and on the basis of which they have come up with that. Okay, second thing is they are saying that this is one provision and not a discrimination based on a religion. But again, government citizens has their rights and they have approached to the Supreme Court. This matter is being heard in the Supreme Court right now. There is no verdict which has come in this regard. Okay, so Supreme Court will decide the fate of this particular act, but right now there are certain issues. Okay, so we'll be talking about that issues. One more thing I would like to tell you here is that there are certain exceptions as well. Okay, when we are talking about this particular CAA, that will not be implemented in the areas of states like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. Okay, so these are 4 states in which this particular act will not be implemented. Okay, there are certain reasons, because these are tribal dominant states. Okay, and they have their own culture and they have their own demography, so we are not supposed to disturb that demography. So that are certain categories which has been excluded from this particular act, that is Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura. Okay, other than that also you must have heard one system, that is inner line permit system. That system has also been used by Britishers in the northeastern region of India. Okay, so you must have heard about Manipur, etc. We have this inner line permit system. So this system has been used there to maintain a distance with the tribal communities which are living over there in the hilly areas, etc. So in those areas where inner line permit system is there, this act would not be implemented. Okay, so these are 2 exceptions you must keep in your mind. Okay, now when we are talking about this you can say inner line permit system, that has been actually started by, it is a colonial concept. Okay, so inner line separates tribal majority hills of northeastern from the plain areas. Okay, so again it is to safeguard the interest of the tribal people living over there. Okay, that is why we are not implementing this particular act or these rules in 4 states plus this inner line permit areas. Okay, now there are certain things when we are talking about this particular you can say issue of CAA. There are legal challenges, okay, which has been posed by various communities in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court will hear. The main concern is that this act is discriminating on the lines, or you can say on the basis of religion. Okay, so Article 14 of the people has been violated. Okay, so that is one legal challenge which has been raised. Now Supreme Court will hear this case. Okay, so the case has not been heard since, so that is one thing. Other than that, as I told you, this right to equality is violated under Article 40. They are saying that if it is on the basis of persecution, so there are various communities which has been persecuted in Sri Lanka as well. Okay, so when we are talking about the Sri Lankan Tamils over there, okay, they are also prosecuted. Okay, so why is that you have not included them? Other than that, when we are talking about various communities from let's say Afghanistan also, there are Muslim communities which are persecuted, or you can say there are Muslim minorities which are living in that areas of Afghanistan or Pakistan, they are also being persecuted. So if it is on the basis of persecution, then why you did not include them? Other than that, when we are talking about the Myanmar, so we have this Rohingya Muslims over there, they are also persecuted over there. So one question is raised that why we did not include Rohingya Muslims, etc. Okay, so these are certain things which has been raised under this right to equality. Second issue is related to your Assam. You must have heard of Assam Accord. Okay, so Assam has this issue of illegal immigrants coming from various regions or nearby areas, from Myanmar, from Bangladesh. Okay, these people came to our country and they have started residing over there. Okay, so because of which there was this issue of the demographic changes over there, and government has come up with the Assam Accord, and which has give you a deadline, or you can say date, that is March 25th 1971. Okay, those people who have entered to this particular area of Assam after January 1st of 1966, okay, and before this date, March 25th 1971. Okay, so meanwhile, if these people has entered, these people will be given a, you can say, citizenship of India, okay, in the due course. Okay, their rights will be recognized in the due course, but the thing is they will be given a citizenship. Now the thing is, CAA has come up with their own deadline, that is December 31st 2014. So obviously that is for the whole nation. So in that case, this deadline will be increased to December 31st 2014. So again, because of which these people in the Assam, they are having certain issues, that deadline, if they increase it to 2014, various people will get the citizenship. Okay, and that will change the demography of that particular area. So that is why these are certain concerns which has been raised by various communities. Okay, so here 2 or 3 things which are important for you is that Tamil Hindus which are in Sri Lanka, they are also persecuted. They can ask you in prelims. Other than that, the Rohingyas in Myanmar, okay, or Muslim sects or minority Muslim sects like Ahmadiyas and Hazaras, they are also prosecuted in various countries. Okay, so these 2-3 communities you should remember, they can ask you. Okay, so that is the broad picture of CAA. What are the concerns, what are the issues which are actually being faced by this particular amendment. Okay, so now let's move further. Security issues. Okay, so recently we have come up with, or we have our organization, that is DRDO, they have test fired Agni 5. Okay, so PM has first test of Agni 5 with multiple warheads technology. Okay, here they have used MIRV technology. Okay, so when we are talking about MIRV, it is a multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle. Okay, so with the name you can say multiple independently targetable. Okay, so there are multiple warheads which are independently targetable and re-entry vehicle. Okay, so basically when we are talking about missiles, generally missiles have 1 or 2 warheads which are launched by that particular missile in that particular area. Okay, but when we are talking about this particular Agni 5, this has a capacity wherein it can have 4 to 5 warheads, and these warheads can be deployed independently at different locations as per our choice. Okay, so now the thing is, earlier that used to be done at a one go. If you are to deploy that particular missile, you have to push a button and then all those missiles which are carried in that particular warhead which will be deployed. But now here they will have a independent targetable capacity wherein you can deploy 5 different targets or the 4 different targets, and these warheads will go at that particular targeted locations. Okay, so that is the recent development. That is a, you can say, a huge achievement for India. Okay, before that, this technology is quite old, but the thing is, before India, this technology was with United States, Russia, China, UK and France. Basically you can say that the permanent fives. Okay, when we are talking about UNSC, there are permanent 5 countries. Okay, and these permanent 5 countries has this particular technology. Okay, so now India has also got it, because recently a few months or few years ago, Pakistan has said that they claimed that they have this technology. Now it becomes imperative for India to have this technology. Other than that, this technology can or you can say these missiles can deploy nuclear warheads as well. Okay, so in that case, that India has this no first use policy. In case of nuclear warheads, or you can say in case of nuclear wars, India will not go for, or in case of any war, India will not use the nuclear weapon for the first. Okay, but if a country is using it against India, then India can reciprocate or India can retaliate. Okay, So since you have a no first policy, no first use policy, so if a country is attacking you with a nuclear warhead, so you must have a capacity to strike back with a huge power, or you can say a strike back in a way that that particular country faces the huge, or you can say largest damage. Okay, so for that this particular category or this particular technology can be very handy. Okay, so obviously when you don't have any kind of no first use policy, obviously you lose the deterrence. Okay, but if you have such technology which can harm the other country in a very vast way or very huge way, okay, so in that case that deterrence, you can claim the deterrence again. Okay, so that is why that becomes important. So coming to the article, new age Agni 5 ballistic missile equipped to carry multiple warheads, each of which is capable of hitting a separate target. This is a long awaited upgrade of India's missile system. Okay, when we are talking about Agni system, we already have Agni 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a recent addition. Okay, when we are talking about Agni 1, 2, 3, 4, these are having various ranges. Okay, when we are talking about Agni 5, it has a range of 5,000 kilometers. Okay, and we are working on Agni 6, which will have a range of 7,000 kilometers, or you can say that will be an intercontinental missile system. Okay, so right now this is the ballistic missile system. Okay, and it has a strike capacity up to 5,000 kilometers. Okay, now the ability to carry multiple warheads on a single missile called MIRV, or multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle, is a technology that originated 5 decades ago, but was in possession of only these P5s. Okay, now Pakistan, last year Pakistan also claimed to have this particular technology, and now India has come up with that. Other than that, India has 5 years ago, when India has also launched an anti-satellite test. Okay, so basically this test was launched, or you can say 5 years ago we have came up with the anti-satellite test. Okay, so that was related to your debris which are entering into our atmosphere, which we can detect. Okay, but then when we are talking about this Agni 5 mission, this is under the name that is mission Divyastra. Okay, so that is important. This mission Divyastra becomes important for you. Okay, the mission Divyastra, the first flight test of indigenously developed Agni 5 missile with multiple MIRV technology. Agni is a long range missile developed indigenously by DRDO. The family of Agni missiles have been in the arsenal for the Indian armed forces since 1990s. Okay, so first Agni was developed in 1990s. Okay, afterwards we have various developments in Agni missiles. Missiles equipped with the MIRV technology can aim multiple targets that can be located hundreds of kilometers apart. Okay, and these can carry nuclear warheads as well that can hit a target more than 5,000 kilometers away. Okay, so these are some specifics of this particular missile, and I would recommend that you remember these specifics. Okay, they can ask you in statements. Now it uses a 3-stage solid fuel system. Okay, the mother missile can release different payloads at different velocities and altitude from different targets for different targets, and the warheads can be autonomously guided to a predetermined target location. So basically here you can say that this is the mother vehicle or the mother missile which can have the different 5 warheads. Okay, and that can be targeted at different locations. Let's say this is one location, second and third. So here you can see that one is targeted here, second is targeted here, and third is targeted here. Now the capacity of this distance is up to 5,000 kilometers. Okay, now Agni 1 to 4 have a missile range of 700 kilometers to 3,500 kilometers, and when we are talking about Agni 5, it has a range of 5,000 kilometers, and we are working on Agni P missile. Okay, so this Agni P missile, which was tested in 2021, okay, this missile was basically advanced version of Agni 1 only. Okay, so this was advanced version of Agni 1 and Agni 2 missile. Okay, and then we are working on Agni 6, that is expected to full-fledged intercontinental ballistic missile with a target range of 7,000 kilometers. Okay, so this is about Agni 5, which we have actually talked about. We have talked the different specifics of this Agni 5. Okay, it has been developed by DRDO indigenously, and it has a range of 5,000 kilometers. It is a multiple warhead technology. It has a technology which empower us to go for different targeted or predetermined different targeted. Okay, so this is about your Agni 5 missile. Now coming to the next article from the around the world, Macron announces a legislation for aid in dying. So basically there are certain diseases, okay, which are not treatable, and because of which individual might suffer physical as well as psychological pain, because he knows that he is going to die, okay. To give them a death of dignity, or you can say a death with dignity, so they have come up with this law, aid in dying, okay. So French President Emmanuel Macron has announced a new legislation to legalize aid in dying that will allow adults facing end of life illness to take lethal medicines first in the country. So basically this is the first country to do that. So wherein you will be given a lethal medicine to end your life without misery, okay. So obviously no death is without pain, but the thing is that person who knows that he will be dying tomorrow or he will be dying in the next day, so that kind of mentality, that kind of thoughts might hurt their psychological you can say mental status. So definitely it is more painful. In that regard they have come up with this particular legislation, okay. We will not go into the ethical aspect of it, but the thing is, for now it is a factual matter for us. So remember that France has come up with this particular you can say legislation. Here what will happen, the person who is suffering from some kind of you can say illness which is not treatable, okay, which is which can lead to death, okay, such person can opt for such let's say such options wherein that person can ask the doctors for the you can say a medicine or the lethal medicine to end his own life, okay. Within 48 hours that person has to confirm his choice, that yes, I have made this choice in 48 hours ago, but now I have I'm very sure about it. After that there will be a board, or you can say a medical expert, which will sit and they will decide within 2 weeks, and then they will give you a prescription wherein they will prescribe you a you can say lethal medicine which has a potential to end your life. Within 3 months if you use that particular medicine, that will result in end of your life, okay. If you are not able to do it, if you have some kind of physical inability to doing it, so you can ask for a help of a nurse or a medical practitioner or a family member. Other than that also, when we are talking about this particular option, this is available to only adults, okay, those who are more than 18 years. Second thing is with a sound capacity of mind. These person are allowed to these person are of the capacity of giving a consent to such things, okay. A person which is having a let's say any kind of neurodivergency or any kind of psychological problem, or if he is not able to make a decision for himself, in that case such option cannot be availed, okay. So this is about this particular article. You must have heard about this active euthanasia and passive euthanasia. If you have not, then go check your ethics notes. There is this case, Aruna Shanbhag case, which has been definitely discussed in your static, or otherwise you can Google it, you can check that, okay. So that is about your this article. Now coming to the another article that is related to India EU still diverge on the key issues as EFTA deal goes through, okay. So we are going for this European Union free trade agreement, okay, but the thing is most of the issues which we have talked about, which we have sorted out already, but there are certain things on which we still have some divergence, which we will see in the after election. There will be another meeting, or you can say talks, in which that will be discussed. So recently there were issues related to your IPR, intellectual property rights, okay, which has been actually talked about. But when we are talking about other issues which are related to your non-tariff barriers, okay, or you can say non-tax barriers, okay. So there are some technical barriers to the trades, okay. Technical barriers. What kind of technical barrier? So these barriers are basically related to the technology used in the process of manufacturing. These barriers are related to the you can say the manufacturing process, or you can say the quality of the product. All these are certain you can say barriers which has been imposed by not the meaning of a tax, but by the meaning of the standard or the quality of the product, okay. So when we are talking about the developing countries like India, these developed countries like European Union, etc., or the European countries, they put these technical barriers on our exports. Okay, so basically because of which our competitiveness, or you can say our exports, are suffering. So that has been an issue on which these two countries, or you can say India and the European Union, are having some issues. Okay, so European Union, you know that it is a block of 27 countries. Earlier it was 28 countries, but Britain has exited from that particular union. Okay, so now most of the key outstanding issues has been taken care of. Now whatever are remaining, that can be taken care in the next level of next round of talkings, which will happen only after the general elections. Okay, the India and the 4 nations European Free Trade Association, EFTA. Okay, so before this particular whole European Union's FTA, we have gone for the 4 nations. These are Iceland and Liechtenstein, then Norway, then Switzerland. Okay, so these are 4 countries which we have signed a treaty with, or trade pact, on 10th of March. Okay, so we have a free trade agreement with these 4 countries as of now, but we are trying to go for the European Union as well. So now this is the comprehensive deal which has made which we are hoping that there are certain market access which will be granted to India. Okay, other than that also these countries are having some kind of sovereign wealth funds, okay, which can help us attract investment in India. Okay, other than that, there are some progress which has happened on the intellectual property rights, but there are certain issues on which we are divergent. That one issue is technical barriers to the trade, okay, which are basically hampering our export growth because they are putting such barriers on our exports. Okay, let's say when we are talking about tea, okay, so they have used some kind of maximum residue level, okay, or you can say on the different products there are certain maximum residue levels are required in the European Union. So basically what they do is that they make a quality standards which is basically not been fulfilled by Indian exports as of now, and because of which our exports are suffering. So that is basically your technical barriers, or you can say non-tariff barriers. Okay, now when we are talking about tea export which has been dipped, when we are talking about European Union, when we are talking about our agriculture export which has also declined, when we are talking about Indian organic tea which has also been declining, the export has also been declining. So basically these are the concerns because of the non-tariff barriers related to your technical barriers. Okay, so ultimately because of which our exports are suffering, and that is why we are still having a divergence on the, or we are not able to make any kind of consensus related to the technical barriers. Okay, so that is about European Union and their free trade agreement related issues. Now for your own read, there are 2 or 3 articles. One missile, many weapons. Okay, so they are basically talking about Agni 5. We have discussed it, but I would like you to go through this particular article. Okay, it has been given in the you can say explain section, so that becomes important for you. So you can go through the advantages here, okay, and what are the updates which has been made in the Agni missiles. Okay, now second article, this article is very small. This was from the advertisement page. I have taken it because they have mentioned something about Jantar Mantar. Okay, now when we are talking about the archaeological aspects or the art and architectural aspect, Jantar Mantar becomes important. So who has made it? Maharaja Savai Jai Singh II of Jaipur. He has built 5 astronomical observations. Okay, so basically observatories are these observatories are known as Jantar Mantar. Okay, so you remember this particular fact. Maharaja Savai Jai Singh II of Jaipur, he has made 5 observatories. These observatories are in Jaipur, Delhi, Varanasi, Ujjain and Mathura. Okay, so in that regard this article was important, so this you can extract this particular fact. Other than that also, if you want to give it a read about this article, you can. Okay, so now coming to the practice question for you. Okay, what is the cutoff date for individuals from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan to be eligible for the Indian citizenship under CAA? Options are given: December 31st, 2010, December 31st, 2014, January 31st, 2014 and January 31st, 2020. Okay, so you have to attempt this question, answer in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. We have discussed today's newspaper fully. So I'm hoping that you will be answering this particular question in the comment box. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Thank you.